Do you know how to Freizeitpark? Hallo, ich bin Stefan Burian. Zusammen mit meinen Gästen gewähre ich dir hier in diesem Podcast einen Einblick hinter die Kulissen der Freizeitattraktion. In verschiedensten Attraktionen weltweit konnte ich mir in den letzten 15 Jahren eine großartige Expertise aufbauen, die ich aus den Bereichen Operations, HR und Entertainment mit euch teilen möchte. Möchtest du neben den hier zu hörenden Insights weitere Hilfestellungen? Mit meinem Amusement Business Support helfe ich deinem Team und dir, ein nachhaltiges Erlebnis für MitarbeiterInnen und Gäste zu schaffen. Mehr zu meinem Service erfährst du unter www.stefanburian.com oder direkt per Mail an contact@stefanburian.com. Bleibt auf dem neuesten Stand und abonniert diesen Podcast gerne auf Spotify und iTunes und folgt mir gerne auf Instagram @howtofreizeitpark, auf Twitter @howtofreizeit. Für weitere Informationen zum Podcast und den passenden Shownotes zu jeder Folge schaut auf der Podcast-Webseite vorbei www.howtofreizeitpark.de. Und nun viel Spaß mit der neuen Folge How to Freizeitpark, dem Business-Podcast für Freizeitschaffende. Diese Folge wird mal wieder komplett auf Englisch sein. Und wenn ihr das jetzt hier hören solltet, seid ihr anscheinend noch nicht davon schockiert, wie meine Englischkenntnisse sind. Denn ich muss ehrlich eingestehen, mein Englisch ist ein bisschen eingerostet und ich spreche auch einen ganz merkwürdigen Dialekt. Aber darüber haben wir schon ein paar Mal hier im Podcast gesprochen. Ich möchte, bevor ich das Interview mit Joep van Gorp mit euch oder euch hier präsentiere, möchte ich vielleicht nochmal so 2, 3 einleitende Worte zum Thema Doloris geben, denn es wird nicht ganz genau schlüssig, was Doloris wirklich ist, und das ist aber auch genau der Zauber, was diese Attraktion auch ausmacht. Und ich bin nach wie vor ein großer Fan und ihr wisst auch ganz genau, das Wort Miauwulf fällt hier genauso oft wie Karls Erdbeerhof und auch Europapark. Das sind, glaube ich, meine 3 Top-Attraktionen, die hier immer irgendwie in irgendeiner Art und Weise genannt werden. Miauwulf, das habe ich ja schon ein paar Mal erklärt, ist eine immersive Art Experience, die mit massivem Storytelling daherkommt und eigentlich keine Boundaries hat, keine Grenzen hat. Das heißt, ihr könnt alles in diesen Attraktionen machen, was die Thematisierung und die Elemente hergeben. Das Ganze findet ihr in Doloris auch wieder. Doloris liegt in der Mitte von Tilburg in Holland und ist in einem, ich glaube, ehemaligen Postgebäude untergebracht. Und es fängt schon damit an, dass man mit so einem Lastenaufzug zu einer Rooftop-Bar hochfährt, was alles richtig oll und irgendwie merkwürdig erscheint. Plötzlich ergibt sich ein sehr modernes, und auch legeres Environment, eine Umgebung irgendwie her, in der ihr euch wiederfindet. Diese Rooftop-Bar ist wirklich sehr schick eingerichtet und plötzlich kommt einer und holt euch ab und entführt euch in Doloris in die Meta Maze. Und das ist genau das, was Doloris ist. Es ist eine immersive, labyrinthartige Ausstellung, wo man krabbelt, klettert, anfasst, riecht, begutachtet, sich unterhält, neue Dinge entdeckt, und wir werden ganz viel über diese Attraktion sprechen jetzt in dem Interview. Joep ist nämlich derjenige, der das so quasi aus Deutschland heraus, aus Berlin, witzigerweise, nach Holland gebracht hat, in die Niederlande, und ich kann euch nur empfehlen, geht mal dahin, guckt euch das mal an, damit ihr vielleicht auch so ein bisschen versteht, warum ich so eine Begeisterung für dieses Thema habe. Und wenn ihr schon mal in der Nähe seid, Utrecht ist nicht weit entfernt, dann könnt ihr auch direkt ins Spoorwegmuseum, ins Eisenbahnmuseum gehen, von dem ich ja auch schon mal geschwärmt habe. Also, Doloris Meta Maze in Tilburg. Ihr findet alle weiteren Informationen, ihr kennt das ganze Spiel unten in den Shownotes in dieser Folge. Und ich wünsche euch jetzt ganz viel Spaß mit dem Interview mit Joep van Gorp. It seems that it is now kind of a thing because it's not the first time that I have an episode, an interview completely in English, but there is a reason for it, because I have another guest, and it's also a guest again from the Netherlands, and I'm very pleased to introduce to you my today's guest, who is a founder and owner of a very interesting attraction in the Netherlands, and it is Joep van Gorp. Hi Joep.
Hi, Stefan.
Hoe gaat het met jou?
Oh, that's very good.
I try.
Hoe is het met jou?
Yeah, not too bad. But thanks again for following my invitation. Before I stumble and mumble along, please introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what is your connection to Doloris?
Okay. I'm Joep. I live in Holland. There I also work. But I am an entrepreneur. I do a lot in the leisure industry, but also a lot of culture stuff. So in the past, I did a lot of events and all that kind of things. And now in the immersive experience world. So in Tilburg, we have, that's the south of Holland, we have Doloris. And that's an immersive art experience and best explainable in the form of a maze, actually. So you climb and crawl and walk over art.
It seems at first that you talk about vandalism, that you walk and crawl about art.
Yeah, so you immerse yourself in a completely new world, and we try to erase all the signs to the known world that we have. So we also don't want any emergency signs that you can see if you don't need them. Of course, when you need them, they are there. Yeah, so it's a 360 themed spaces where you walk through, but you also can climb and crawl over everything that's there. So that actually means that you're inside of a painting. We compare it to a painting sometimes where you walk in. And then you can touch it how you want it, but please don't get any vandalism inside. Yeah.
And it is hardest to damage it, because when I was there a couple of years ago, I was just stunned because you don't expect anything. And what I really love about your attraction, and you hear the fan inside talking me, is that you don't know nothing about it. There are no pictures, no videos, and your instructional videos on YouTube are not explaining a thing about your attraction, which is absolutely amazing. And you're just amazed. How do you keep it a secret? Because I can imagine, especially with mobile phones and stuff nowadays, people just taking pictures all and stuff.
This is one of the USPs that we have, but it's also a fundamental part of our experience. So what you see now is that the market for immersive experiences are rising. But if you think about immersing yourself in a new world, then if I look to it, then the only possibility to fully immerse yourself is being alone, and also don't have any distractions. So you don't want to have the time of the regular world, and you also don't want a connection to the regular world. So by taking, how do you call it? By putting your stuff in a locker, like your phone, your watch, your camera, or whatever, just leave them behind and go in all by yourself. That's the maximum way to immerse yourself in a new world. And I think that's also the power of the installation that we have. And then if you also don't know where you're going to, so because you don't have a camera or phone with you, it's impossible to take a picture. So the only way to bring the story forward is to tell your own experience instead of showing a picture.
Yeah, I think that's why I also enjoy our experience, because the start and the finish point is a rooftop bar. So you have like a social experience, and then you do the art immersive experience, and then you are back in the rooftop bar, and I hear just people trying to figure out what just happened.
Yeah.
But how important is this rooftop experience in addition to your immersive art experience?
Yeah, the rooftop is actually the existence of it is actually the plan that doubled in size. So we needed a space where people could have a drink before and after when they were waiting to go inside or waiting till their friends are back. So yeah, and then we found this really astonishing location that we have in the city center of Tilburg with a big rooftop. And it's a big with a terrace, but we also have a big inside part of the restaurant and of the rooftop. So actually there was not the original idea that we were developing a rooftop, but then when we found this location, it was like 1 + 1 is 2. So we did that. a small update about your experience and which it is now. We moved the entry and exit of the maze one level lower to have a more secure space where also the vibe is a little bit different than the rooftop, but still comprehending. Why did we do that? There was because we have a capacity problem, because the rooftop was full on the Fridays and Saturdays, and the maze was also. So sometimes you were one of the lucky, but sometimes it was possible that when you came out of the maze, you couldn't get a table to have a drink.
Yeah.
So we separated the two to maximize the experience.
So I just realized that we are already talking about what's going on and all the stuff around, because we too know what's happening around this experience. But let's go a little bit back in time and go back to the point where you just realized, well, that's a thing. We could do that. How did Doloris happen?
So I first visited an installation of Carmenoia in Berlin, and that was the big inspiration for the project that we did. I asked the crew of Carmenoia to come over to Holland, and also we implemented a lot of Dutch artists and also from other countries to it. So eventually there were around 70 artists. They worked on the maze in Tilburg for over 13 months. It was a crazy time, a lot of fun, a lot of stress, but it was a really cool period. They created the maze. The maze exists out of 40 different rooms. And then it's not the regular maze as how the most people look at it. So it's not a grain maze, which is only flat. So you really go up and down and slide and climb, and it's really a physical experience. Not too much, but an easy physical experience.
When you talk about the different artists worked on the different rooms, how do you manage so much creativity? Because I can imagine when you have artists, they all have their big ideas and there is a blank canvas at first, and then they start to get crazy, and you as a project manager, you are trying to figure out how can we fit this all things together. Yeah,
so you need a good art director and also a good production team that's organizing that. So also for this the Doloris Meta Maze, it was Tim of Carmenoia who did the art direction. And we helped him out with some extra advisors around him and a team that could help him to realize it. And I was mostly busy with the main part. So the maze was a big part, of course, and there were a lot of fire security questions and all that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff that artists don't want to think about. But yeah, so it was an interesting job to complete such a big project with so many people in the creative sector. Yeah.
From the idea we want to do this till the opening, how much time did you need to construct the whole project?
From the moment when I visited the installation in Berlin, I was directly like, okay, I want to do something like this. I also think that this is possible on more places. So what that was at the age of 18, I guess. So I'm now 30. So that's a lot of time. We're now open for 3 years. And the financing part of the plan took around 1.5 years. It took a little bit more than a year to build. So and then the rest of the time is lobbying.
So there was no George R.R. Martin like in Meow Wolf who said, "All right, I give you the money, just do it."
No, but we've also been to Meow Wolf in Santa Fe, and I didn't met Vince at the time, but Matt King we met. That was also not their case, of course. So what you see in this kind of projects is that it's new. The major company holders in the leisure, like Merlin or Disney or all that kind of companies, that they are I think they didn't were not aware or not interested in these kind of experiences. So it needed a little bit more guts.
Yeah.
And George Martin had the guts. What I also heard is that about Mia Wolf is that when his financial manager was already there, Mia Wolf would never happen. But he wasn't there at the time. Vince convinced George. So and we just needed a lot of time to massage the politics. That was a big part of our financing structure.
Beside from the financial aspect, what was your biggest challenge in constructing this kind of attraction?
It's always the first question that we get if I talk about the installation, and that's all fire safety. So how can we save? Even still, when people go inside and they come out, and then they're like, how is this regulated? But actually the solutions are pretty simple. But you need to find them first, of course, and have a lot of expertise to also be able to, if you find a possible solution, that it's also possible to regulate it in the terms how the law wants it.
When you think about now, it's been quite some time. I just looked at it. Was it 2016 that Doloris opened?
2019.
Sorry, 2019. So we had now 2019. We had COVID. We are now in a weird phase of, well, what's happening right now on the planet, and people are really craving for escapism, for immersion. What do you think is the future of those attractions? Because I don't see not just a trend. I see I wouldn't say that's a little bit pathetic, the future of tourism and attraction design, but you see that people have now different needs when they want to visit or when they have free time, spare time, and want to experience something.
So what is your question?
My question is a good point. My question is, how much potential do you see, of course, not even just in your own attraction, but what kind of possibilities are there to make more of those attractions maybe, or to expand?
I think it's really it's a new time where we're living in now. So, and that's not because of COVID, but I think that's because more and more people are living in cities. So they want to have a smaller, easy escape, which is easy to travel, and they want to get out of the busy world. So every moment that you're at your breakfast or in a meeting or whatever, you can get a message on your phone. So you want to do a step back, and it's really easy. Just leave your phone behind. But to create an environment for that, I think that's a powerful one, and people want to experience new stuff. So when I was a little bit younger, then I was always like, the Efteling in Holland, it's a really great theme park. But a lot of other theme parks and also museums and every sort of other attraction it was always not as good as themed or decorated as the Efteling was.
Yeah.
So, and I was always like, why are they not doing that? And that was at the age of 10 or 12, I guess. So that generation now grew up. So I guess I'm not the only one. I think there are a lot of people who experienced that and just want to see the more fun in a museum, for example, but also be more immersed to understand actually what's happening instead of looking at a painting and reading a short alinea. So, and if you now look to the new generation and how quick they are and how fully focused they are in a small game or whatever, that's going to be the next influence. It will take some years because the generation also need to grow up. But I think that's the future that we're looking to.
And it's funny that you mention it because museums and all other attractions are changing, and there are two good examples I have. It's the Spoorweg Museum in Utrecht. Yeah. Which is mind-blowing. I didn't expect anything, and it was just beautiful and amazing. And I was in Kerkrade last week in the Discovery Museum, which had dark rides. There was a huge theater with projection mapping. There was theming all around. I think that there's a truth to the point you just mentioned. But let me ask you one thing: why in the Netherlands? Why are you so pioneered in this thing? Because in Germany you don't see such kind of attraction. It's very like, all right, it's a German museum. You go in, there are dead bodies and bones and skeletons and too much text and well, goodbye. That's it.
Yeah, I think this is really connected to the urban developing. So actually, the idea for Doloris came out of Berlin. So that's true.
It's funny.
But if you look to the development of museums and other sort like attractions, then I think in Berlin there are some examples. In Cologne they try. But yeah, and then Germany is really big. So there are a lot of cities that are not so big as maybe some cities in Holland. I don't know the exact numbers for that. But then the other part of that is that in Holland there are living 17 million people. I think in a 1/5 or 1/6 of the full Germany, and Germany is 80 million people. So actually Holland is just a big city.
But would you say that Dutch people are more curious than maybe other people? I wouldn't even point it out down to German, because we are curious, but we are very, very introvert as an audience. But I think what I have experienced, Dutch people are more outgoing, more brave, more curious, trying new stuff.
Yeah, and easily bored. So they
really
they want new stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to always come up with new ideas.
Yeah, a new idea, and to stay top of mind. And then afterwards we want to have a drink.
That sounds like a good concept.
Yeah.
Well, talking about keeping up things up to date, do you keep Doloris up to date? Are you changing rooms, themes, art installations?
Yeah, so we changed some mostly the exit during Corona, because we have the new routing inside because of the lounge. And for the rest, we try to keep it up to date, but we will not change like big parts or really change the full room. Maybe in a few years, but the upcoming years we will not do that.
Okay, but are there any plans to maybe expand the Doloris brand?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's a quick answer. Quick reply. I see. I know some good places here in the Ruhrgebiet, because in Germany we have the massive problem right now that all the inner cities are dying. Most of the biggest brands like warehouses and shops we have are mostly broken or leaving all their what's it called, buildings behind, and there's it's Leerstand. There are so many empty shops and retail right now. Do you think that those immersive experiences can maybe not the solution for it, but can help to make people go back into the inner city?
Yeah, for sure. But it really depends on the experience and also on the location. So for if you go to Antwerp, to Anvers in Belgium, then you have some experiences in the main shopping street. Those kind of experiences are really good for the specific audience that's also walking around there. What I don't believe is that the shopping halls will be the next sort of theme park or something like that. And if you hear the phrases that they use from a place to buy to a place to be, that's one of the main phrases they use everywhere. That's possible for sure, but then also you need to have an identity. So it's not just okay, let's put an attraction inside and then then it's a place to be. But it's not like that. It needs to have a soul. And the biggest problem in the real estate is that the authentic soul I will not say they don't have a soul, because they for sure have, but something authentic. I don't know if that's the right English translation, but something pure, and to create a good brand with that. That's for sure possible, but it's not an easy one.
When you talk about having a soul in your as your identity or brand or your center point, how do you do that with Doloris? Because you have a soul, you have like your corporate identity, but there's so much risk to spoil the attraction. So how do you find this small thin gap of making it fun and exciting that people recognize it, but on the other side don't spoil too much that people are getting like, okay, I saw that in the video before?
Be creative. That's that's actually the only thing you need to be, and you need to. That's more difficult when you're running longer. When you start, you create an identity and you create the soul for the company, and then after a time, it just gets okay. You're getting stuck in a loop or something like that. So you need to be able to step out of that, look to it, and then see creativity in it and develop some new ideas. But yeah, eventually, if you look to an experience like us, we can create a lot of stories around it. But eventually, if we want to stay top of mind, we need to be doing something big that's really new. So, for example, if you go to a theme park, the most theme parks are developing every 4 years, latest 4 years, a new attraction, also just to stay top of mind. The Efteling, for example, does it every 2 years. Mia Wolf is now opening 2 installations in the same year. So that's really quick. But if you look at that, that's the way to stay top of mind with your audience, and then you have different stories to tell. And I think that's the only way forward. If you just stick with one attraction, just isolate it somewhere, then eventually it will die, because the creativity will eventually be lost.
So how did you put that effort into your marketing campaigns? Because I mentioned it before, you have some videos, and I know that there was, before you opened, like a video campaign with a lot of teasing and not mentioning a thing at all. I remember those videos where this, I think there was a security cam, and there was a guy walking about, and he was just sucked into the monitor, and he was just gone. And then Doloris is waiting for you. Like, what?
You really checked all the videos. Nice.
I did.
Yeah, that was actually the very beginning of Doloris reaching out to the world. But we have a thing how we call our marketing, and that's mystery marketing. And actually, we stole that from, or we didn't steal it directly, but we got the idea from Daft Punk, well known, of course. But at the beginning, nobody knew who Daft Punk was. Just the 2 helmets. And eventually, when they were already decent size, big around the world, they were at South by Southwest. They the big festival in Texas. And they hired a big billboard for a week, the full week of South by Southwest. And what they did, they just put up a picture of their 2 helmets. And that was the first day. And everybody was like, oh my God, Daft Punk is doing something. And then every day they put up the billboard an extra word. So, or a new sentence. So the full week of South by Southwest, and this is, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, or maybe 20. But the full week of South by Southwest, everybody was talking about Daft Punk because there was something coming.
Sure.
And the mystery of that, so even if you didn't like Daft Punk that much, but the mystery that they created, and there's actually all the personal stories. Everybody was like, I think they're doing this. I think they're doing this. So everybody could create their own story, and that's actually the fundament that we are trying to do, is to create a world or create pinpoints where you can create your own story of. And that's what we call mystery marketing.
Awesome. That sounds very interesting. During all the time, you have now spoken about your identity, your soul, the marketing, the operational point of view. When you think about this whole time and this whole project, what was your biggest learning?
The biggest, if you don't like what you do, you will not make it.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think especially when you have such a huge project going on with so many different people trying to coordinate, if you are not able to have some fun on some point, you won't make it till the end.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be a lot of stuff if you we created a lot of festivals and events and all that kind of stuff, and this was the first long during installation that we created, and that's for all the regulations and law and all that kind of stuff, and also financing. Those are the big numbers, so it's a totally different project. You need good people, but yeah, if you don't like it, it will take all your time and all your money and all your energy. So you need to like it really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about your attraction, what is your favorite room? Doloris is in the middle of Tilburg, or in Tilburg, and it is open all year round, I guess.
Yeah.
And if you are on some point, dear listeners, in Tilburg, please go to Doloris. It is an amazing attraction. It is something really new, something amazing you haven't really done before. And Tilburg is a very, very nice city. So you can have a good day out there. And just a quick one to the at the end. What is your general feedback you get from your audience, from your visitors? Are they as confused as I was?
Some are, yeah, for sure. I think also every day 1 or 2 people are coming out like, "What was this?" And but all the other people are like, "Oh, this is crazy." And the best reactions are a bit comparable to my experience what I had in Berlin, and it was like just be silent, staring down, and like process everything that you just experienced. And you see that sometimes a week, yeah. So that's cool. Yeah.
Is there anything? Is there like a really memorable encounter you had with visitors within your attraction?
Yeah, a funny one. So what we say to people is that if you are a bit scared or just your tension is getting too high, then we say just talk to another guest and go further on your journey together. Another rule, or it's not a rule, but it's more like we try to get people as silent as possible inside, because that's the best for everybody. So if you have a group running around screaming, "Oh, check this room or check this room," then it's a different experience. The coolest experience is to be on your own, and maybe sometimes we're like, oh, here's another person. So what happened? A girl was a bit scared inside, and she asked a guy that was passing her, "Can I go with you?" And the guy said, "You need to be silent." And then he walked further.
And till today, she's still in there.
Yeah.
So she's part of the art installation right now. Joep, thank you so much for your time. It was really amazing, and I can just mention it again. Check it out. You can go on doloris.nl and you see all the further informations, opening times, ticketing, and where this attraction can be found. Joep, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Und Schlussbremse, ab in die Station, Bügel auf, das war's. Liebe Freizeitschaffende, diese Fahrt ist nun vorbei. Der Ausgang befindet sich auf der rechten Seite. Vergisst nicht auf dem Weg nach draußen eure Taschen mitzunehmen und diesen Podcast auf iTunes und Spotify sowohl zu bewerten als auch zu abonnieren. Wenn ihr Anmerkungen, Feedback und Themenwünsche habt, dann schreibt mir doch gerne über Instagram @howtofreizeitpark, über Twitter @howtofreizeit oder direkt per Mail an contact@stefanburian.com. Aktuelle Informationen und Shownotes zum Podcast findet ihr auf www.howtofreizeitpark.de. Wenn ich dich neugierig gemacht habe und du das Potenzial deiner Freizeitattraktion für MitarbeiterInnen und Gäste nutzen möchtest, unterstütze ich dich gerne mit meiner Expertise. Mehr zu meinen Dienstleistungen findest du unter www.stefanburian.com und vereinbare direkt einen Termin per Mail unter contact@stefanburian.com. Vielen Dank fürs Zuhören, habt eine hervorragende Woche und bis bald!